This session, we're going to be looking at using AI in recruiters and headhunters for your next role. I'll introduce myself. My name is Tony Jones. I'm a member of the media-related task force. Does anybody know what is the number one job skill that employers are looking for today? Does anybody?
This is broad. It's soft skills.
Okay, you're close.
Is it resilience?
Kind of, sort of. You're close. You're closer. And I'll give you a hint. It's a skill that pretty much everybody in this room has.
Is it storytelling?
Bingo. Storytelling. How many people have spoken in this room today? They are from places like nonprofits. You got to be a great storyteller to get those people to give up their dollars. Storytelling. I can't tell you how many job postings that I've seen recently in the last few months. They want storyteller. They want someone to be able to communicate an organization's story, a company's story. So that's the number one skill right now. And every one of you in here has that skill to some degree or another. So keep that in mind. Now we all know full well what's been going on with the layoffs in journalism, also in communications. Unfortunately, there have been a number of you who have attended today who have been laid off, not knowing what direction your career is going. And also changing is the manner in which we search for jobs and how we obtain jobs. Career mobility in media and communications, it's constantly evolving. And a lot of times, we're kind of get into our job search and we're doing it by ourselves, but sometimes there are times where someone like a Yahira or Terica might reach out to you and say, hey, I have an offer. I know I get calls from headhunters and recruiters all the time.
What's going to get you noticed is actually showcasing your personality, and of course you want to keep it professional. These days people are a little less professional on LinkedIn. I'm sure you guys have noticed with like the jokes and things like that, trying to make light of everything that's going on in the job market. But if you go on your LinkedIn, you should be able to tell exactly what you're doing, especially with that tagline, because people can see your tagline before they even go to your page. So it's going to be what makes them click on your page. So that tagline, the first thing is going to be the first thing they see. They're going to see your name and the tagline. If they click on your page and they can't see what you do, they're not going to keep looking at your page. In addition to the skills that you're getting endorsed, you can also ask your coworkers, your old supervisors, whoever, for recommendations, and they can write a recommendation and it'll be right there on your page. A lot of people don't utilize that tool, but you can actually send them a link, they'll click on it, and they can write you a recommendation right on your page. And it'll say what their relationship was with you, like this was a former supervisor, this is a former coworker, and that helps as well. And also with the skills, when you're listing the skills, you want to have the top skills, because you have to click more to go see the rest of the skills. I think you can have up to 50 skills on there, which is essential for when you're getting searched by the recruiters, because they're searching for skills. When they're looking for people, it can filter your page based on what your skills when they're looking for people. And I would say the top skills that you're looking for and your next role that you're looking for should be the first 5, because those are the ones they're going to see initially when they go straight to your page, and you can reorder them. So what I do is when I delete them, I go backwards because it's weird, but that's the most tedious thing about doing your LinkedIn. But when you do it, it's going to be backwards. So the first skill that you put in is going to be last. So the skills, so you want to do it backwards. So if you got a list of skills that you want to do and you want communication to be your top skill, you need to put that last, or else you have to go in and reorder them. Like I said, with everything being so public, you definitely want to manage your digital footprint, because if somebody Googles your name and they see something crazy, and I'm not saying don't post, because, we're social, especially these days, because we're not even going outside and hanging out or networking in public. A lot of times we're doing everything online. So, but you definitely want to manage your digital footprint in a way where you want to be represented. You want to brand yourself, essentially, especially when you're looking for work, and even in between, because even if you got a job, you want to make sure you're still networking and still carrying yourself in a way, especially in a media role or in a role where you're going to be known and seen and your name is going to be everywhere.
What impact, if any, does AI have on the way recruiters find talent, find people to fill jobs? Does it have any impact at all?
It could. I think it varies industry by industry. So there are some industries and sectors that have been much more impacted by the use of AI, both from the candidate perspective and the recruitment perspective. There are some organizations that use AI bots, for example, to filter through resumes. Incredibly frustrating. We do not. I believe in a human-first approach. And there are also some organizations that have even automated certain aspects of the recruitment process. And so you actually don't speak to a human until maybe your second or third round. And I find that to be so decultivating. But those industries and sectors that do that tend to be tech-first industries, so financial services, corporate, private entities, where that is expected. In terms of, I would say maybe the social sector, much more broadly, I think that AI has been used in the recruitment lens to really seek out using it as an engine to help you propagate like strategy. So like, okay, if I want to understand what is the makeup of XYZ leaders in Philadelphia, then I can put in what I think and I can ask AI to find that and expand on it. So I've seen it used as a model to strategize pipeline development.
I do something called a brag book. I'll talk to you guys about that later, but I do something called a brag book because a lot of people don't even know the extent of what they did, you know? So if you got your little brag book, you can sit and you can actually write out what you did in each role and kind of try to figure out what the importance of what it is you did. Because you could say, oh, I answered phones, or oh, I did this, but it's so much more than that and what you did and how you did it. And that's what I think stands out on the resumes is the impact in itself. Like, okay, you did this, but 10 other people did that. So what did you do specifically that can help me? Because honestly, as much as we don't like to admit it, and she knows because she'll work with the hiring managers, you know, it's their market and we want to be able to showcase and present ourselves in a way where we're showing that we're the best candidate, which kind of results in a rebrand in a way. And then when you're doing hundreds of applications, it's impossible to do that, to showcase your actual. So that's why I always emphasize to try to pick out a couple roles, maybe 5 to 7 max, you know, that we, you know, research the company, see what their core values are, because that stands out too.
Talk a little bit about the relationship that you have with the job seeker and the client. A recruiter, correct me if I'm wrong, a recruiter works for the client, not the job seeker. Now, say that for the people in the back.
The client pays me, and I find the client people. So I will say there's 2 different types of recruitment organizations. They are known as retained search and contingency search. A contingency search is usually high volume searches. You'll have recruitment agencies that reach out to you and they'll say, come in for the job. You're probably even doing group interviews and they get paid if the person gets hired. So they'll get 30% or whatever of someone's salary. 15 to 30% is industry standard. A retained search firm is a little bit more white glove service. So an organization reaches out to my organization or other recruitment firms and says, we're having issues hiring. And then we reach out using all of the tools that I mentioned, like this is how we're able to go on LinkedIn and say, whose profile matches these requirements that we need? I reach out to that person and then we engage in a full process. Unfortunately, a lot of organizations like mine do not do the work that Terica does. Terica works directly with candidates and serves as essentially a coach, which is a completely different skill set. I will serve as your advisor if you are an active candidate in a process of mine.
But the one question I do want to ask, you've gone through this whole process, you've applied or you've been reached out to by a recruiter, you found a good position, you apply, interview. Okay? Employers are now using what's known as behavioral interviews. What is a behavioral interview and what's the best way to prepare for one?
I love behavioral interviewers because it's a skill that can be taught. It's also a skill, like if we wanted to talk about some of the inequities that happen in a process, behavioral interviewing skills are skills that are taught in like an MBA program, right? Not everyone has access to a $300,000 MBA degree, but those folks that go through those programs are trained in this. The behavioral interview posits situations as a way to answer questions. And so you use a STAR method: situation, task, action, result. And I will say that as storytellers, succinctness is your best friend. Most conversations, my initial round ones with all candidates is 30 minutes. So you have 30 minutes, and I always feel so bad. I'm like, these people have 30 minutes to tell me about a career that could span 30 years. And that's what you have. So I would also develop a short version of your story.
How about a nice hand for our speakers? Now, before you go, thank you both very much. Please take down this information. I talked about jobs that I post. Personally, I do it every week. We put it, there are 2 places where it's posted. On the media-related task force members Facebook page, it's NABJ Media-Related Members Task Force. Sign up there. We also have a LinkedIn page, the Media Collaborative. That is all. I know we're a little bit over. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.